Hello, hi everybody. This is Rachel
Jeff?
and we are with Redeemed Marriage, and tonight we are going to be talking to you about conflict resolution and how to resolve conflicts in your relationships. So this should be a fun a fun topic. Shouldn't it, honey?
Yeah, hopefully no conflicts arise out of
I
it.
sure hope not. So, one of the verses I really like, and I think is really great for conflict, is James 1:19, and where it's talking about being quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to get angry. So I think that's a really good thing to really think about, and being able to be quick to listen and slow to speak and slow to get angry. So we can be very reactive to things and not really hear a person out, or just jump the gun and be very quick to speak and say what we want to say, and kind of, even getting the last word, and we can be pretty quick to get angry. So this verse is really a really great verse on doing the opposite of what we usually do in a conflict. So,
We used to do that all the time. We would just, if something would arise, there was no level-headedness or, being calm. It was just something would pop up and it would be just fly off the handle and go from 0 to 100. And then you've got just created 10 more issues to try to deal with than just being level and calm. And sometimes biting your tongue is the best start to a conflict resolution.
so I say that if you're fighting and things are pretty, intense or heated, that one of one of the things I think is a really good thing to do is just take time out. Give yourself a time out, and or walk away, take a walk, even, like, do whatever it is to just settle down some. And even sometimes you can't really get to a resolution right away. Maybe it is a big thing and you're not able to resolve it right away, or it's just too many feelings, and it's just too intense and upsetting and everything at that point. So I feel that it's okay to maybe discuss, and that try to just really communicate that this is something that you can come back to and revisit, like, at a later time when things are a little bit calmer, even if it has to be the next day or something like that. Just to be able to revisit that. So that is a few things that I have.
I think it really comes down to
Learned.
a lot. Sorry for interrupting. A lot of communication, because what she might be mad about or what is on her mind, I might internalize that and almost make up something that she's mad about and immediately get on the defensive, when it could be something that's just simple. So I think a lot of it is, find out, have that open communication to talk about what could be going on, to why the other person is angry, because our minds tend to trick us into thinking that it's one way, but that's really not how it is. Or you could be upset with me and I could be upset with you, but we're really upset at nothing. That's just the plain honest truth. It could be just as simple as just talking about it in that moment, and then, because I could be thinking this about her, she could be thinking that about me, and it's just festering and festering and festering, getting bigger and bigger. And then you got this huge blowout war over nothing, really.
Yeah. So we were talking with our friends about this last night, was that when we have an issue and we don't communicate that, and we just go on for, however long, a week, a month, whatever it is, and then, all these little things start, like, adding up, and then all of a sudden we blow up on somebody, and it's, like, over something so stupid, and that's not even really the reason you're blowing up, but it was, like, the icing on the cake. It was just, like, this ticking time bomb at that point, and then so you just end up just blowing up because you're keeping all these little things, like our little offenses, or whatever, or you haven't talked about, or you have not resolved something from like 1 to 2 weeks ago, or however long it was. And so it's just festering and festering, and then all of a sudden, one little thing, and you blow up, and it's like, what? The other person's like, what the heck? Like, I didn't even do anything. It didn't even have to do with that. It had to do with all of these things you've just been keeping inside, letting fester, and then it turns into this big, crazy thing. So I think it's very important to be able to communicate what's going on, what you're feeling, whatever it is, and being able to share and communicate those feelings. And also, one thing that we've learned, even through counseling, was how the other person hears what we're saying. And so, like, she would have us, like, okay, me talk 5 minutes, and then let Jeff repeat back what he heard, to see if, like, because he could be hearing something, and he did that, like, he can even speak on that. He's like experienced that a lot, where he's like, and I'm sure I've done that too, where it's like, you didn't even hear, that's not even what they said. We're hearing something different than they said. So it's kind of powerful to be able to just speak, and the other person doesn't say anything. You have to give them their time to speak. And then, okay, like, have that other person say, so what did you say? What did you hear me saying? And that's kind of a powerful tool, and that was really good, because you really can see, like, did they really hear what you were saying, or is they just hearing something else? And I think Jeff, like, has said, you can.
I think that goes to I think it digs to a deeper, it gets more to a deeper root inside yourself and within yourselves as a couple, because I remember for things, all I would hear Rachel say to me was just kind of like, she might say something, but I would just jump on the fence and think she was attacking me, or think she was putting me down, or think she was just thinking horribly about me. But that's not what it was. That was an internal root that had a hold on me for my entire life, pretty much, from when I was younger all the way up till adulthood. That you just go through life, you stuff things down. I didn't deal with things. I didn't do things. Let some things go, then just held on to things. And so coming to being married, we both have all of our baggage that we carried on to that point, and all of a sudden we have these situations that rise up, and it's like you go to your automatic self-preservation mode of, you're saying something, it sounds hurtful, so I'm immediately thinking this, when it really wasn't that. And I think that was just really helpful in not just helping us with dealing with conflict, but letting go of this baggage that I had just weighing me down, that didn't need to be there anymore. That really I think it really helped our communication a lot, and with dealing with things.
So I really think, there's talk about, having tools in your toolbox, and being able to pull those out and to actually use them. And even when Jeff and I, went through counseling and stuff, it was like, we have to use the tools that we are learning, or else that's just not, what's the point? If we're just going to go, and go every week and stuff and learn things and not use what we're learning, then there's just no real point. So it's, getting the resources, getting information, and, all of these things to help you in your relationship, putting those little tools in your toolbox, and then, don't let them just sit there. Like, when something arises for, whatever comes up, pull that out, pull out what you have learned, and use it, so it's definitely going to help your relationship. So I definitely recommend, I don't know if Jeff can
well, I will
give
say,
some of those tools.
I will say one tool that you touched on was, was to take a walk, and I've been kind of laughing, you probably see me smiling throughout this. I was thinking of this time where we got into, something happened, and I thought, I need to go blow off steam, and I started walking and walking and walking and walking, and I might have walked for like an hour, and I think maybe like 40 minutes into it, when I was still kind of hot about whatever had gone down, I was thinking, like, I gotta walk all the way back now. So it was, at the time, walking away was a good thing to do, but I wasn't in a good headspace to like do that. So, but anyways, sorry for the rant. I was just, if you're watching this, y'all, I don't know where that went now, unfortunately. So, some things that I've used is definitely speak from your heart. Be honest. Use I statements about this is how I feel. I feel X, Y, and Z about the whatever the conflict is going on.
Hold on, let me stop you real fast. So in that is that we've learned that we always want to validate each other's feelings. So if Jeff says, I am hurt by what you said to me, and I think, like, what? Like, that wasn't hurtful, like, but I want to validate and that he felt that way, even though maybe I think, like, he shouldn't feel that way, like, what I, or however it is, but we always want to try to validate each other's feelings, like, and be compassionate towards, you may not see it that way, but that's how they took something, that's how they feel hurt, and they're entitled to their feelings. So I never want to, and we've really learned that we need to validate their feelings, even if, like I said, you don't have to completely get it. You may not feel that way, but that's their feelings. I know, like, sometimes, like, I've been hurt about stuff, and, like, you really hurt my feelings by that. And it's like, okay, like, as long as I'm letting him know and he doesn't, maybe he feels like, but he still will validate that, okay, like, I'm sorry that you feel hurt by that, and, like, it wasn't intentional, or, a lot of times it may not be intentional and stuff, but I think that we've really learned to just validate when, we do feel upset or hurt about something in a conflict, or, something like that. So, go.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know, I just think a lot of, at least what we've dealt with, is just our perception of where the other person, just perception's a lot. I had a great list of...
When you're talking about tools a second ago.
Yeah, I mean, well, there was a great, list of other tools. that we have that we could use, but it was again being slow to anger, be slow to speak, take a walk, take a drive, listen to some music, even pray before you say anything, because if you're in a conflict, your emotions are going to be high, and it's good to just shut everything off. Don't be having a conflict and sitting on your phone trying to resolve it. That wouldn't be good.
Yeah, definitely, give your undivided attention. And honestly, sometimes I have just needed to just stop and just, I went into like a quiet space by myself and turned like worship music on and stuff, because I just needed like to just be and just, try to be calm and, just like I said, just give myself a time out and just have like some time just to think and stuff, and
Definitely don't bring up stuff from the past. I think that's a good one. I think deal with what is going on right now and work on that, and then once that is resolved, then maybe that could open the door to further conversation about some other stuff or an underlying issue that, like Rachel was saying, that whatever you could be going on could just be the straw that broke the camel's back. And, that could be a good start to the healing process of not just what you're going through right now, but a lot of deeper wounds that you guys have carried on.